go.
Hello. So we're doing things a little bit different today and a little bit off. So some of you. So we've been doing Zoom, using that technology to do some health and wellness classes over the last several weeks because of the pandemic and have to do social distancing. Well, apparently Zoom's decided to do some updates because they've had some issues and now it's not working. So it's okay. So instead of getting just a little bit of what we were going to do today and what we've been working on in our classes, you guys all get to see what we're doing and do some of the healthy cooking. So we learn about carbohydrates, proteins, healthy fats, meal planning. Those are all the things we've been working on. So putting it all together and trying to learn how to do new stuff is why I'm doing this. So this could be entertaining for all of us. You can laugh, I don't care, but we're gonna learn how to do a couple of things. So I already got things set up a little bit because of the ease of doing it and for us doing it a little bit quicker since we're doing this as a live thing. So the first thing we're gonna make is a breakfast. So the breakfast is gonna be a chia flaxseed porridge. So it's like, it can be a hot breakfast or it can be a cold breakfast. So if you guys have never used anything like these before, you might not know exactly what to do with them. And so I've personally tried and everything, and so I'm gonna show you how to do this. All right, so this is chia seed. Chia seed is very high in protein, fiber, and it's quite tasty. It's a little bit crunchy. So typically I have, this would be like 2/3 cup of chia seed, 1/3 cup of flaxseed, ground flaxseed. You can put in some coconut if you want to, some cinnamon, and stevia for sweetening it, and then throw some kind of a berry on top. So I'm a person that when I cook, this is why I'm doing this. I don't like have recipes that I follow. We do have some, but seriously, I like things that are easy. So I take some chia and I do that. It doesn't take a lot because when you put fluid to it, it actually will get a little bit thicker. Ground flaxseed is what this is. Again, high in fiber, good omegas, protein. Okay, see, all of that. Now, if you like coconut, use coconut. If you don't like coconut, you don't have to. I, however, like coconut. And typically I'll put about 1/3 cup of that in there or just whatever I'm feeling. Now, we have cinnamon, just plain old cinnamon. Sprinkle in a little bit. If you're a measurer, put about 1/2 teaspoon in. If you're like me, you just sprinkle it in. You can always add more if you want to taste some more. You can add less if you don't want that much. That's fine. All right, so now, this is stevia. I just brought the little packets because one packet is about like if you were going to use a teaspoon or so of regular sugar. But stevia, remember from some of our other classes, has really good health benefits to it also. So it's an antimicrobial, it helps actually fight with Lyme disease. So it's got a lot of good things and it's sweet and it doesn't affect your blood sugars. So I take one of these, sprinkle it on there, throw it in my trash, and just do it with one. And then you just take hot water, or you can stir it up a little bit. And it doesn't work very well to like pour water on it and then put it in the microwave. The water's got to be hot when you pour it on there. And so you just stir this. It smells so good. I love the smell of the cinnamon. So you just pour that on and you keep stirring. And if you want to get a little bit closer here, you can see how when you stir it up, how it gets, how it starts kind of, not really gelling up, it's just getting thicker. But just keep stirring it. And it will, the longer it sets, get a little bit thicker. So that's about the consistency. Can you see how like it's still got a little bit of water on top of that there? When I see it like that, that's how I leave it. And then I said just stir. And kind of leave it set. So and there is your breakfast. That is ready. So the other thing, you can take different kinds of fruits and put on there. I like berries because berries are very high in fiber. These are blackberries. So I just throw in a handful of those. You can either eat them on top or you can mix them in. But so see how easy that was? And now we have breakfast. There's meal one of the day. Bam, done. So the next thing I'm going to do though, when you're doing that, if you are a person who's kind of busy and you're always on the run, you don't really have time to sit and do all that every morning, you can put it into a container, a sealable container, preferably one that's got the seal on it so that it stays fresh, and then you can make as much of it as you want. That's why I said I don't always measure. A lot of times I just kind of throw it all in there together, shake it up, and then I've got it. And then I just bring it to work with me, and I can scoop out some of it if I want to, add the hot water, and I'm good to go. The other thing is that you can use like some almond milk with this. If you typically eat cereal is really high in sugars most of the time, and there's a lot of hidden things in there that you may not realize. So this you can do and put however much stuff you want in it, and then put almond milk or soy milk, and it's like eating a cereal. Okay, so we're also going to do a lunch, which is going to be an avocado tomato salad, but I'm also going to start our dinner. Because while we've got some stuff cooking over here, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make our lunch. All right, so for the dinner, I'm doing the chickpea thing because it's like my favorite. And for people who've never tasted chickpeas or anything like the stuff that I'm going to cook, I really wish we could be doing this in person because it's good. Even my people who roll their nose up at almost everything like this. So I'm just using a hot plate, and I'm going to heat that up. We're going to heat up some oil. I've got avocado oil just because it was in a pretty bottle and it was easy to bring. So again, I don't measure a whole lot of stuff. But if you're measuring, it's about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. You just pour it into your pan and you start letting it get hot. So while that's heating up, now, garlic has so much flavor and it can make everything taste amazing. And you don't have to put a whole lot in it if you don't want to, just enough to give it some flavor. You can mince your own garlic or you can buy this. Because what this says, I think is like 1 teaspoon equals a clove of garlic. It tells you on it. So, because this needs to cook a little bit, I'm gonna get it started. So I use just about a teaspoon there. And we're gonna let that start to simmer up and get all toasty. Nothing that I cook really takes a long time, and none of it really has a lot of effort into it. So what I've kind of done for this program and the recipes that I'm coming up with and writing down for people to be able to use is that it's got to be simple, it's got to be fast, and it's got to be tasty, and it doesn't have like a ton of steps to do with it. Because I'm one of those people that if the recipe says mix your flour in a separate bowl, do this in this bowl, do this in this bowl, I go, it's not really necessary, and I just start mixing it all together. So that's kind of what I've done is I've tried to play with that a little bit, so it's even for the person who doesn't know how to cook, doesn't like to cook, you can do it simple. Apparently it takes a little bit longer for a burner to heat up than it does for a real stove. So we're gonna let that keep going and hope I don't set the place on fire. This is what happens with salad. Beyond easy. And again, I went ahead and cut some stuff up to go ahead and be prepared. So I have cilantro. This, I got it at the store. You can use dried cilantro if you prefer, but this is just like, they have it in bunches at the store. It's pretty cheap. Cut it all up there. A lime. You can use lime juice if you don't want to actually use a lime itself. Tomatoes. So these are just little cherry tomatoes because they're easier. And then we've got avocados. So if you've never done anything with any of these things, I'm going to show you just how easy that is. As soon as I find my knife. I don't have my knife. So we're going to do that one in a minute. See, this is so much fun when you're doing something live and you forget something. Because I've been cooking and prepping stuff all morning. All right, you're going to have to entertain yourselves for a minute while I go get a knife. Told you it was gonna be entertaining. Okay, but they're all clean. Take them out of the dishes. Okay, so this is what I do. I cut up about 6 or so of these, and it depends on how much you like tomatoes. If you like them, put a ton of them in there. This is really odd when I don't have people to talk back to me. Okay, so there's my tomatoes. And next I'm going to do the avocados. So if you've not done an avocado, I'm sure that there's like real ways you're supposed to do things and fancy professional ways. That's not really me. I just kind of do the stuff that I've learned how to do with things. This is why I don't have a real cooking show. I don't think anybody would want me. All right, so avocado, I twisted it out. You just take it and run around the edge and it pops out. Now, I'll take the other one. So I'm told that if you leave this seed inside of things that it doesn't turn brown. The avocado doesn't turn brown. I don't know about that. I haven't proven it. I usually eat it all before it has time to turn brown. So, but what I'll do here is then cut this up. And again, I'm trying not to get my hands all messy. If I were at home, I would have avocado up my arms. So see how soft they are? This is how you want an avocado. You want it to be that soft that you can kind of cut it like that. So avocado, very good in omega-3s. It does not have a whole lot of flavor. So I hear people all the time go, ew, I can't eat that. I don't want to eat that. Well, if you've never tasted it, don't trash it until you've tasted it. Now, here's the cilantro. Look, dump it on. That's probably a little bit much, but it's okay. So the other thing, though, with the avocado, if you want to keep it from turning colors, is you use a citrus juice. So I'm going to use lime on top of this, and that's going to keep it from turning. I smell my garlic cooking, so pause here for a minute. Do this. All right. So the other thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some celery in here. I went ahead and just chopped it all up. So once the garlic is kind of simmered for about 5 minutes and it starts to turn a little bit golden brown, not burnt, just a little golden, then you can add this. So I put in some carrots that I chopped up and some celery that I chopped up, and you just want to let that simmer until it gets kind of soft, where you can start to stick your fork into it. And if you want to get closer to here, please, so you can kind of see what we've got going in there. So celery has such good flavor, so does the garlic. So you're seeing that in there, and it looks like it's just a little bit dry. So this, I'll just take this and add a little bit more avocado oil or olive oil. You don't have to use avocado, just so it doesn't stick. See how that is there in the bottom? You can see how much oil's in there. So that was after I just poured it in. All right, now we're gonna let that simmer. Takes a couple minutes while we go back to making this. So I was talking about avocados. They're really good, high in omegas. They have a lot of calories in them, so sometimes people tend to turn away from it because of the calorie content and because of the fat content. But they're all good. Like, so to get this kind of a fat that you can mix with almost anything and be so yummy and tasty, we kind of like having those calories. All right, so there's all my avocado and my tomato and my cilantro. And now I'm going to do my lime. So you can cut your lime yourself here, and you can squeeze it on like this with your hands. You can do lime juice, or my kids got me this awesome little tool for Christmas. But you do this. Look at that. Very easy. So I only use a half of a lime when I'm doing this. If you like more lime, go ahead. But personally, I would like to save the other half for a margarita, but that's just me. All right, so mixing that up. And that's lunch. How about that? Oh, gee, thanks. Brandy's back. Everybody knows Brandy. She's the one who tells me when I'm doing stuff dumb. So you can put a little pepper on there, some salt on there. And remember, we talked about sodium. Sodium isn't always a bad thing. If you're getting your salt like that, so and this is my salt that's got iodine in it, but if you're getting your salt that way and you're using it in moderation, it isn't bad for you. Salt got a bad rap. It can raise your blood pressure if you use a lot of it or if you eat a lot of processed foods, but just salt to taste, that's fine. Okay, so now we have lunch. How about that? Lunch and breakfast. Moving down the line here. Out of my way. The girls have already tasted this kind of stuff, so I haven't made a whole bunch of it like I'm making the other. And these, I just put these because the whole point of this is I have like a whole day here of food. These are cashews and almonds. I munch on those kind of things during the day while I'm sitting at my desk. And with the blackberries. So if you're looking for snacks, blackberries are great, high in fiber, some nuts, cashews. In these bags, you're good to go. Okay? We got food. We got snacks. We got limes. All right. So I'm going to stir up my stuff here. Now we're getting on back to dinner. Anybody got questions on there? Okay. So like, see if my regular thing was working. This is where we'd be like talking about all kinds of other stuff, like going through some of our slides. Meal planning doesn't have to be fancy. Doesn't have to be a whole lot of stuff. All right, so those we cook till they're tender. Like you said, you can stick a little fork in them. Then I have zucchini. So this is just kind of cut up. Again, zucchini, don't get all excited about saying, ew, I don't like that. Most of the stuff that I used to say I didn't like is because I had it out of a can or because I had it out of like something frozen that had already been processed and mushed down, and by the time you eat it, you're like, ugh, I don't like the texture, I don't like anything about it. But when you start kind of playing with vegetables yourself and you actually get to taste the real vegetable and you get to put your own seasonings in it, totally different. So I'm just going to dump those in there. And I put those in a little bit towards the end because they tend to cook a little bit faster, and I don't want them to be too mushy. Because vegetables, if you don't get them real mushy, you have more nutrients in them. And so now I'm going to tell you a little bit of how this recipe kind of came about when I started playing with stuff at the house. It's because one of my favorite meals ever is stuffing at Thanksgiving. And I call it a meal, but really the only thing I like at Thanksgiving is the stuffing. And I could eat it for days, hot, cold, whatever. So I'm like, okay, now what can I do if I'm doing this vegan thing and I'm not doing breads, I'm not doing pastas, but I want something good to eat? What am I going to do? And I want stuffing. And I started this plant-based thing before Thanksgiving. Everyone thought I was an idiot, but, that's just how I do things. Never the smart way. But anyway, so I wanted, how can I get as close as possible to stuffing? So the best part about the stuffing is when you cut up your onions and your celery and your carrots and you're smelling that throughout the whole house, in the morning, then you add your bread and stuff to it. But it's really the vegetables that I liked. And you notice we didn't put butter in here either. The butter's very high in saturated fats. So I replaced it with the oils. And then for the vegetables, you put in salt and pepper and poultry seasoning or sage. So you can use poultry seasoning because that's what you use when you put it in the stuffing and sage. And it tastes just like you're having stuffing. I think it does anyway. And so I could sit and probably eat this whole thing by myself. That's like, I don't know if anybody saw the post the other night. I did a pizza, a cauliflower crusted pizza. One of them I bought, and then I tried making my own cauliflower. Making my own cauliflower crust did not work out so well. But the crusted pizza was actually really good. I was just trying to avoid some of the kiwi salt. It's back on my desk. I was trying to avoid some of the processed things that are in the pizza crust, the cauliflower pizza crust that's pre-made, but I don't know that I'll ever be able to make it to where it holds together. But you would have never known, and I did not put any cheese on it at all. So that was pepper that I just put in there. I'm just going to take a look at all these yummy flavors in there. So it's just going to keep going there until it's all cooked. Okay, so now the other thing I'm going to do, and for the sake of time, and because I know you guys probably have better things to do and don't want to listen to me all day. But, so chickpeas. So chickpeas, this is 1 can of them. It has, we talked about our serving sizes, so I'm going to read a label for you. So 1 can has about 3.5 servings. Each serving has 110 calories. And so that serving is about 1/2 cup, thank you. And it has no cholesterol, 20 grams of carbohydrates, but we have 7 grams of fiber and 7 grams of protein. So for something that's not a meat product, that's a lot. And all of that fiber in there we talked about for lowering your cholesterol, controlling your blood sugar, keeping you full, keeping you regular if you have issues with that kind of stuff, all those things. So this too, you want to wait until closer to the end to add in because they can tend to get a little bit mushy if you overcook them. Oh, and I drained that already, by the way. Drain all of this stuff. So again, we'll stir that around in there. I'm going to get my salt. You don't have to cover any of this while you're cooking it. If you want it to cook faster, you can cover it because when you do, it kind of heats up a little bit faster. But then I find that it gets a little too mushy if I do that. So I like to do it open. Okay, now, I'm not going to add the mushrooms because some of the girls here don't like mushrooms. So I will wait and add those later. After all this is done. But you can put pretty much anything you like in this. That's what's so great about it is you can make it whatever you like. So I'm going to eat the mushrooms after they're all done getting your scoops out. The other thing that you can do is you can put it on this if you want. If you want more of a filling meal or you want to make it go a little bit further. Because a lot of times that's the thing too is people are like, well, you know, I need meals that aren't that expensive, that I have to feed a whole family with them. This quinoa brown rice, amaranth, that's already got a little bit of seasoning in it. You pop it in the microwave for 90 seconds and you can add it into this or you can put this, scoop this on top of it. That way, if, you know, somebody in the family doesn't like it and doesn't want it, they don't have to eat it. If somebody does, then, you know, you give it to them. Okay, so that's our day of meals. This I'm going to keep letting it cook. I know I said I don't usually like to put this on, but since I'm cooking off a hot plate in what used to be a salon, hopefully we're back open soon. Got to make some modifications. All right, so we got breakfast, which looks really bad now. Promise it's still good. It just got a little bit thicker. There we go. We got breakfast. We've got lunch. Need some salt. We didn't put salt on that. Okay, we got some lunch. We have snacks. We have more snacks. And we have dinner. Okay? And this stuff is really, really filling. You'll be surprised. It's really filling. And that didn't take hardly any time at all. So I'm probably, how long have we been doing this? And I've got a meal. I got a whole day's worth of food. Does it say, Brandy, 30 minutes, 40 minutes? Something like that. And there's a whole day of food. So it doesn't have to be hard. And it's all got lots of fiber in it. This meal that I did right here, this day plan has 1,000 calories in it, 1,100 if you eat a little extra scoop of this. And you don't use this, you can eat even more. But, so see, it doesn't have to be hard. It's pretty easy. I'm going to do more stuff, not like the whole day's worth of food stuff, but here and there we're going to put some more recipes out and put some more posts of how to cook some stuff because we don't cook anymore. Everything comes out of McDonald's drive-thru or out of a can, so that's where we've kind of gotten away from having healthier foods and actually knowing what to do with vegetables. So that's why I wanted to do a little bit of this, and I hope it was helpful. Thanks, guys.